I'm Kevin Lee, and let's queer up trans rights. Transgender Day of Remembrance Pride Center hosts Vigil for victims of anti-trans violence. Thursday was a very important and somber day for the LGBTQ+ community, Transgender Day of Remembrance. A terrible record occurred in the last year as 71 trans people died from violence simply for living openly and authentically. The Pride Center in Wilton Manors held an event to remember them. Out South Florida reporter and Queer News Tonight special correspondent John Hayden was there and filed this report.
Sia's words empowering, and angelic Kimberly Venom inspiring. It was all part of Transgender Day of Remembrance at the Pride Center, a moment to mourn the loss of 71 trans people who died over the past year simply for living authentically and openly. The community gathered to say the names of those and confront a truth that has come into sharp focus over the past year. We must support each other because society will not.
But it is unfortunately very, very true. So when you live in a society, in a world, in a culture that produces shame and stigma and inflicts it on the transgender individual, unfortunately the people that love us the most are also getting stigmatized and getting shamed. Wait, you're loving and supporting that? So my husband, for example, is a straight man. And there are situations that he has become very uncomfortable in because people start to question my identity and my authenticity as a human, and why he, as a straight man, would be attracted to somebody like me and or date and or marry me.
The statistics are disturbing. Nearly half of the deaths were from suicide. Another 20% the result of domestic violence.
I stand before you here today at 50 years old.
The life expectancy of a trans woman is 50 years old. Organizer Adriana Tender proudly and defiantly now exceeds that grim marker.
There were countless moments of pain, challenges, and sacrifice, but I would not erase any of them because each part of my journey shaped me to be the woman that I stand here before you today.
A somber event, but there's joy in the solidarity. The joy is in the community coming together and saying, we are not going to give up. We are not going to quit. We are not going to forget our trans brothers and sisters. And there's a certain thing that just sort of fills your heart when you look at it that way. At the Pride Center in Wilton Manors, I'm John Hayden.
You know, I really think you guys, we need to, as a community, really need to speak more about the trans community experiencing these issues. I don't think they get enough media coverage. I don't think it's reported enough in communities, especially around the world, even here in South Florida. And what I think is that the number 71 is underreported. Most likely, it is probably twice as high, but it's just that because of misgendering and really the authorities not reporting it properly on a state level, on a local level, I think that's one of the biggest issues. And I think it's done, unfortunately, maliciously, in a way to put us down, to make our trans community and all of our friends really invisible. It's a way to really just wipe us out, if you want to say it that way.
I'm so glad I saw John Hayden there because he really captures a lot of what you're seeing, and it's such an important part of our community, you know, to recognize the transgender individuals that are currently here and those that have, gone before. I'm so happy to see Ariana on there and Miss Eyes lending their voices as well. And, the Pride Center is so wonderful. The Gay Men's Chorus offices are there and the Trans Inclusive Group office there, AHF. And it's so wonderful that we have a space like this for community
We're lucky to have that.
And to do things like this.
Very lucky.
Yeah, I think Misty makes a great point. We put these labels on people and then we polarize them and we shame them for having a trans friend or a family member or a partner.
Exactly.
It's wild to me that we have to create a label to then create fear and mock them and then create this divisiveness. I mean, shout out to to Misty, but in my household, that would create a rift.
Absolutely.
That would make me furious if my partner felt any type of way because of some influence he had from what society told him to feel. And that is sad to me. And the reason I think that they're not on the map as much is because there aren't many people who have trans people in their lives. Right. They're so small in numbers. It's hard to have a friend, a close friend, right, that you know them on a deeper level to be able to feel and empathize with them. And so it's hard to figure out what path we need to next. But that event that they had looked so small in numbers.
Yes.
It's wild to me that I didn't even hear about it. And so if we don't have, you know, the advertising or the budgets or the voices to let it be known that these people need to be remembered, how are we going to show up for them? And it's just chicken or the egg. It's like, what steps do we, I'm always lost. We report on these. I mean, I've been here for a number of years already. And every time I'm here, we have a transgender segment. We have a moment to speak for them. And I'm still repeating the same stories.
Right.
And so nothing has changed. And I just don't know how to get there. And it's sad to me that Misty brought up a great point that it's even happening in her own home with her own lover, you know, and
what I thought was a little heartbreaking was the fact that there's domestic violence as a major consideration for these deaths, and there's also suicide. I mean, our community does not need to be snuffing itself out over these issues, but it's because of external forces, and maybe that means we need to really pour some focus into really in mental health and supporting our community with mental health and learning to love ourselves more and learning to celebrate ourselves because others are not rushing to celebrate us.
No.
Agreed.
Not at all.
You know?
There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.